This is going to be a great episode. Terrific, outstanding, amazing,
Fantastic.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Outrageous.
Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Sandy, and we're two Tenderfoot tourists. Welcome to episode 92, the one about First Cruise Eye-Openers, Part 2.
This episode is the second half to our first one, which we went into boarding the ship, talked about our reaction to the exterior and interior of the ship. Mm-hmm. We also talked about how organized and disorganized and all those things, the service, we even touched upon that just a little bit.
Right, which we were very happy with the service, I want to reiterate.
Yes, we were very happy. And the food, we talked about the food. We talked about the Windjammer, and we talked about the main dining, of course, is My Fair Lady. And did we mention what ship we were on? The Enchantment of the Sea from the Royal Caribbean? I don't know.
I thought we did.
This could be a problem. Well, you know, the thing is we already dedicated 2 episodes already before we even did the review on what ship we were going on to.
That's true.
So and that's not a big deal.
We've also posted lots of pictures and even a couple of videos, so.
Which I'm very proud of.
That should really help.
Yes.
I love the video we posted going into Cozumel. I mean, first of all, I just want to say, our ship was an older ship.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of rough in real life. And in our video, it looked pristine.
It looked amazing.
It looked beautiful. You did a great job videoing that.
Thank you so much.
And setting that all up. I love it.
Yeah, you want to go see that video, you can go to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, the Two Tenderfoot Tourist Podcast on YouTube, and also the Facebook of the same name. Oh, and you can see it on Instagram. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, on Instagram. And do us a favor and share. We would love for more people to see that video. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about any of this, anything we talk about in this episode or any previous episode, just simply email us at tenderfoottourists@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook. Just simply talk to us anywhere, at any time. We respond pretty quick.
At least you didn't say, or the YouTubes.
Speaking of going, that video going into Cozumel, this is going to be an episode. We're going to talk a little bit about Cozumel and our excursion that we bought. We're
wanting to touch base on that. We're wanting to talk about activities and onboard things that we did, including some shows and stuff, and different photo ops.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're going to finish it off, try to explain whether or not we'd be interested in going in another cruise again.
Right. And we're going to talk about that in as much detail as possible because we want to make it really clear where we stand on it and why.
Right, exactly. And let us know how you feel about your cruise experience. Have you been on a cruise before? What was your first cruise experience? Did you love it? Did you hate it?
If you've been on multiple different cruise lines, what you like most about which ones and what you like the least about which ones.
Exactly. Let's start the conversation.
Yeah.
Cozumel.
First impression when we were pulling into port.
Gorgeous. The water was blue.
Very blue. I was shocked to see all the major sized buildings on the shoreline, but I still thought it was absolutely beautiful pulling in. I was a little distracted by the gigantic cruise ship we were pulling up next to.
Harmony of the Seas.
Oh, yeah.
Oasis class by Royal Caribbean. The thing is amazing.
It could have eaten our ship. Without a problem.
The thing could almost fit in the center of the Oasis, our ship.
It could fit.
It could stick right in there.
If
just
you go look
perfectly.
at our pictures on our Facebook page and on Instagram, you'll see a couple of head-on shots of the two ships side by side. It could fit.
It was crazy.
It's incredible.
It really did take our breath away. I want to say that I didn't think they could make a ship bigger, but they keep on making them bigger.
Yeah, and that's not even the biggest.
No, that's not even the biggest.
Well, as far as the port itself, I thought the water was incredible. And by the way, we said this last time too. Yes, the water is that blue.
It is just that blue and that clear.
Just so pretty.
We bought an excursion. Now, per Justin and Wendy, the Queen City Cruisers, we've had them on the podcast before. Go back and listen to them. We highly recommend it. But they said don't wait till you get aboard the ship to buy the excursion.
Right, because you're going to get the higher prices, especially if you wait till you get on the ship, because they're going to pop it up even more. Because you're at that point, you're at ground zero. It is time.
Yeah, and they're playing upon your desperation, I guess. If you really want to look at it that way, I hate to be that crass about it, but
we are, especially as Americans, we tend to be convenience shoppers, or what do you call it? Impulse shoppers.
Oh, man.
That's why we have so many wonderfully unhealthy things on the impulse aisles, because we'll buy them.
Right.
cruise lines really feed on that. I can't blame them. It's a business.
It is a business.
And it's not
they
like
got
they're
up there to make money, right?
Yeah, and it's not like they're jerks about it. They just make it very available.
They do.
If they were selling crack, I think people would just buy it right there in the open. Cause
it's got Royal Caribbean on it. Why not, right?
Yeah, it couldn't be harmful, could it?
It's all good family fun. But so we bought ours like about a month and a half, 2 months before we actually,
I would guess it's about a month and a half. Mm-hmm.
And it was like the package that we got, the excursion that we got, it was for Playa Mia. It's in Cozumel, and it's about a 20-minute drive. I don't remember if it's north or south of the actual port that we were in.
Didn't we end up saving about $20 a head?
We saved quite a bit of money.
It was a big savings.
It was like normally like almost $80, and we got like $60 out of it. And
I mean, it involves a lot of things. Not only do you have full access to the beach,
it
which
was
is
the deluxe
lovely.
package is what we got.
Right. It was very clean. You didn't have garbage to pick up or watch out
nice.
for. The water, of course, you could see through to the bottom. It was incredible. But they had a couple of the blow-up play areas.
Out in the water.
And you want to say for kids, but they're really not. They're for anybody. Adults can go out there. They actually require you wear
I was going to mention that.
a life jacket to go out there, though. And some of our party did go out and play on those. They have paddle boats.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even
Kayaks.
know, what are the trikes called? But, I mean, I'm sure people
water
listening.
trikes?
That's what I'll call them.
Let's just call them water trikes.
They have those. They had kayaks. But we did the paddle boat.
It's really jacked.
And the paddle boat was just a disaster.
Yeah. Okay. So, not to go too long on this water trike. Okay. For one, they didn't give us very much of an area in order to, because they had like, they had a paddle boat. They had, had the water trike. We didn't try the water trike. We did the paddle boat.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
My bad. But still, even, I mean.
That's why we did the paddle boat.
The paddle boat was jacked up.
It was a disaster. First of all, as we've said, we're kind of fat. So we weren't in shape.
Was a hassle.
Yeah, that was such a show. And those guys, they just watch. They don't help you in. They just hold the boat still.
I was getting in like I was like in my fifth trimester of pregnancy. You know what I mean? I got a college student ready to burst forth.
Okay, I didn't do so bad getting in because I waited till you were in and I took your hand and you showed me where to step.
Yes.
The young man standing there holding the boat, he would grin once in a while. You could tell we were kind of entertaining, but he wasn't going to do nothing but hold the boat. I'm sure they probably have their rules on that.
Probably.
But I get in and I'm like, okay, I'm in. And then we had to paddle against the waves.
Yeah.
It was a joke. And we're trying to steer this little thing.
You couldn't steer straight with that thing.
Terrible.
And we were running into people and I was going like, that's okay, I'm insured.
We're so sorry.
In fact, my insurer's right over there on the paddle boat.
That's right. They got on the trike.
Yeah, they got on the trike.
And they seemed to do fine. Of course, Sean.
Well, yeah.
But
I know Jen wore out pretty quick.
I don't think we lasted 5 minutes.
No.
And then we tried to get out. You finally got out of the boat, and then I'm trying to get out of the boat. And it was bad enough to try to kind of like roll out.
Oh, yeah.
But the sand. Oh, my goodness. As soon as my feet hit, I sunk up to my knees.
I think I said several times, I'm almost positive this is quicksand.
It was startling, and the guy just stood there straight-faced. He didn't even laugh at this point. I would have been dying.
Yeah, I would have had tears.
I was kind of getting nervous. I thought, I'm going to go down, and I'm not going to get out of here.
Yeah, and you want me to help you, and I'm like, I'm sinking too.
And he was sinking too. Oh, my gosh, it was crazy. So no more paddle boats for us.
No, not until we get into a little more shape. But anyway, so Playa Mia. Okay,
we got sidetracked. That was my fault. But it includes all those areas that we were talking about, and it also has a complete buffet, 2 lines of it actually,
2 lines, and
so that there's plenty of room.
With the deluxe package, you get access to the really nice buffet. Actually, it was pretty good. They had a lot to choose from, and stuff for the kids as well. They had chicken nuggets and fries up there.
All the soda you could drink, and all the alcohol you could drink.
It was unlimited. Okay, it came with it.
Did you not find it really funny that when you go up and order alcohol, they'd automatically give you 2?
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Okay, so I'm sitting there, and you were sitting there too, and Justin goes, you know what? I've been wanting to have a dirty monkey, and I'm like, okay, what is a dirty monkey like that? He goes, it's a drink they make here, and I'm like, he's setting me up.
Yeah, I thought he was too.
I was like, he goes, it's a drink. I've always wanted to try that. And I'm like, you know what? I'll go up and ask. I'll bite. I'm going to just let it. I'm just going to laugh about it later. I have a good sense of humor. I know a good joke when I see it. And usually I'm the butt of it. But anyway, so I go up to the window. The guy barely speaks English. And you know how I am.
You're terrible at it.
I'm terrible at it. not at English. I do struggle with that. But hearing a dialect and then someone trying to repeat English back to me,
right.
I feel bad for the person because I know I have to be frustrating
You're saying
them.
you're a bad listener.
I'm a bad listener. My hearing is horrible. Anyway, so I go, yeah, I would like it. You could tell I was trying to give him the face of skepticism. And I said, because that's a universal look, right? I said, I need a dirty monkey. And I braced impact. He goes, oh, okay, sure, like that. And he just started making this drink like that, and it was spectacular.
It was really good. You thought you were being sweet to me because you were going to get me a banana daiquiri, and they said they didn't make them. So you brought me a strawberry daiquiri.
Right.
I really didn't want it because the last strawberry daiquiri I'd had on the ship was super sweet, and I really didn't want it.
And this one was too, by the way.
And it was. I tasted it. And you gave me a taste of your
Dirty Monkey.
And I went, this is really good. And I just kind of kept holding it.
And I already handed the other, because he gave me 2 drinks. I already handed one to Justin. I'm like, seriously, now I have to go back up and deal with a person who does not speak and hear
And how many did he hand you?
He handed me another 2. Another 2. I'm like, I just wanted 1. But anyway, so I look like a lush. I'm a 2-fisted drinker.
You were shooting those back fast.
Swinging them cups. And so anyway, Playa, it was a nice beach.
Yeah, and they had the pool. They had the kids' pool area.
Air-conditioned bus to bring you to there and back again. That was nice.
They had changing rooms. They had lockers where you could lock up your stuff. So
so if you're going to go to Playa, it's $8 to get a locker, but if you bring your key back, they'll give you $4 back.
Right. So when you're all done, you just turn your key in.
So technically, it's a $4 locker, and those things are huge.
It's worth it. We had 2 backpacks in there with lots of stuff in them. But it's totally worth it because we took sort of changes of clothes. We had shoes that we wore that were different. And I had a pair of pants that I had worn over my swimsuit and my cover-up. But you had some of your electronics.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to video some, but you also wanted to be in the water.
Right.
And we were able to lock those up, feel like they were safe. It was really a neat deal.
Right. It was a really nice day. They had a pool that the kids and the parents could all swim in at the same time. They also had a little water play area that was in maintenance mode.
Right.
At the
They were
time.
working on it. But there were some fairly good sized slides over there too that I think were for possibly adult sized a little further over. Yeah,
you could actually go online on YouTube and see what that looks like. It is quite fascinating. I didn't video it, but they have a lot of things. Was it Hannah, the Justin and Wendy's daughter? She had her hair, what's that called? Braided?
Cornrows.
Yeah. Thank you.
And she doesn't do the whole thing. She just does up front all the way across, and then she has super curly hair, so it's adorable. It looks really cute. But she had that done. I came so close. To
doing a braiding or corn rolled?
Yeah, I really did. But
I'm glad you didn't, because it looked weird. I think at the time I was thinking, yeah, go ahead and do it. Why not? But
I'm just not so sure.
Not so much. And then, okay, so while you're there, you have people walking around offering spa treatments and stuff like that. So if that's available to you, they have a price list. I didn't look at the prices because I'm not interested in spas. I suppose I should have, just for the people listening.
Either. Yeah.
And then also they have some storefronts and stuff, like some gift shops.
They have the chocolate store.
Oh, and the chocolate store.
Was it a chocolate company, chocolate factory, something like that?
Yeah, it was some good chocolate in there.
Yeah, we got to go in and sample little tiny bits of it, and there were probably a good 15 or more choices. And then they have lotions and soaps that are made with cocoa also, and you can smell it somewhere. It's pretty interesting.
And then also, if you're a person who likes a lot of coffee and you don't like the alcohol half or anything like that, and you just want coffee, they have a Starbucks just in there in the entryway. So, and they also have Wi-Fi there. That, in fact, that's how we did a live stream. Was from Starbucks, and everybody was saying hello to everyone else on that. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and especially for like Molly, because she was the one there with no family there.
Right.
She came with her friend Hannah, and she got to say hi to her mom right face to face. So it was kind of nice.
It was kind of nice. So, make a long story short, Playa Mia, would you do that again?
I liked Playa Mia.
I did too.
Now, my only complaint about Playa Mia is the fact that it was very commercialized.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to go to other countries, I want to experience a little bit of the culture. I realize that a lot of the Mexican culture is very poor. I'm not saying I wanted to go down and see people's houses. I just wanted a little more taste of culture. It felt a little bit more like Universal to me.
It did have that like exterior it's all positioned perfectly for the tourist.
Right.
It's all garbed up for the tourist.
Yep.
I get that. You're talking more along the lines of like you have a person like actually doing crafts over here in one section where you can buy the crafts that they're making.
I ended up buying a necklace that I absolutely love. It's like one of my favorite things I have right now.
Yeah.
But who knows? It may have came from Taiwan. Who knows? I wanted to see them make stuff there, and I wanted to buy something from there.
Yeah.
Whether it be, a poncho or
a hat or anything.
I know I'm cheesy, but that's who I am. I like the culture.
Well, those sort of things are very successful. I don't understand why that would be such a difficulty. Maybe it's because it's, I don't know, economically it's easier for them to do that. I don't understand that stuff.
And I don't mean to say anything bad about Cozumel. It's a lovely place. I enjoyed every minute we were there. Mm-hmm. I just missed out on that part for me.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so just to branch upon what you had just said about your feelings on the port at Cozumel. Also, you have a lot of people at the storefronts trying to bring you in, and we were told that they are a lot more aggressive in other areas, other ports that you could possibly visit.
Right.
They were not, and I thought, wow, these people are pretty aggressive. I'm thinking, how much more aggressive could they be on other ports?
Well, I learned when we were leaving, I learned how to stop it.
Oh, yeah.
You just say, sorry, out of money. And I did that. As soon as I did, they quit talking. But the first time we went past them when we were walking around after we swam was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Because we walk up and we were
funny.
going to go put our stuff somewhere, and a man goes, come in. And I said, we'll be back. We're going to come look around, but we'll be back. And he goes, go over there, get a drink, come back drunk. And I'm pretty sure that means that they usually make some good sales to the drunk people.
Yep.
But
Yep.
We got a good laugh over that one.
Yeah. But, I mean, overall, I enjoyed the port. I did. I really did.
I did, too.
I actually enjoy people from Mexico. I really do. I like the
our bus driver was really nice.
Super nice. I mean, I understand that he has to do that because of the fact that, that's his job.
They work for tips, too.
They work for tips. And that's something else you remember when you go in there, make sure you have some 1s and 5s with you.
Yes.
Because when we first got there to Cozumel, we saw some Mayan dancers players, musicians.
Right.
They were all dressed. You can go to our Facebook page and you can see it. They had these 3 guys and they all decked out in a Mayan sort of, garb, if you will, and painted bodies and stuff like that.
Played drums and stuff.
It was really good. And then you can go have your picture taken with them, and it was so much fun.
They're such characters. I wish we would have videoed it.
I know.
They would, instead of say cheese, the one young man, he was going, say, Burger King, and we would all say
Pizza Hut.
And we would try to say it exactly like him. Of course, he has a very thick accent, so it made it 10 times funnier. And the last thing they said to us after doing our picture and entertaining us so much is, we work for tips. Mm-hmm. And, I had forgotten until that moment that we needed to be tipping everyone because that is what they're there for. A lot of them don't make an actual salary. They work for tips.
Right.
So we tipped them, of course, and it was worth it. It was so funny and entertaining.
It was really worth it. And you know what? Honestly, you and I can both agree they earned it.
They did earn it. They put their hearts into it.
Just like that one guy when we were getting back on the ship and we were going through customs, and the guy was sitting in the line just playing his guitar.
Oh yeah, he
really
was so good. So I dug through and grabbed him out a little bit of money also, because he's just standing there as people are in this long line. You're a captive audience, but it's amazing because you're being entertained while you're there.
And you know what? And if you think about it, that right there in itself, in a nutshell, is what you are looking for when you go to port.
A little piece of Mexico.
Because right now you had Margaritaville.
Yeah.
You had Senior Frogs.
Yeah, stuff I could see other places.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And a lot of really nice looking jewelry stores, like selling silver, really expensive looking jewelry stores.
Really expensive. And so, I don't know, Cozumel, I would go again. I would go back to Playa Mia. I would without a doubt. I would like to see more of Cozumel personally.
One of my favorite things we did there too, and we forgot to mention, is we actually tried snorkeling for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And that's a big deal because I have a slight fear of water and Steve has a large fear of water. And to put our faces in it, and to keep our faces in it is a big deal.
It is a very big deal.
We borrowed some equipment from Justin and Wendy. They are the awesomest.
We can call them that.
The awesomest. And they actually coached us also on how to use it. And I'm really excited to say we snorkeled.
The only thing that was a drawback on me, there's a few things that actually a drawback. One, I had a mustache.
Right, your whiskers got in the way, so your mask would leak every once in a while.
So the next time we go snorkeling, I'm going to have to do an Abraham Lincoln and just shave the mustache.
Or you could shave the whole thing.
Or just shave the whole thing, which, by the way, my daughter-in-law, she was like, don't ever do that. She hates it when I
She
shave.
loves your beard. She's the one that talked to her dad into growing a beard.
I'm glad he did. I can't
He
see
looks
him
awesome.
any other way,
I know,
right?
now he'd look weird.
He'd look weird.
He'd have naked face.
We don't like Sean Nakey. Okay, so Cozumel, the water is the salt. The salt in it, that was the other thing, yeah. And it was so salt, I do not float. How often have I told you I do not float?
Okay, he refuses to understand that everybody can float. And he'll always say, no, I don't float, I sink. Well, he floated.
Yes.
And we will be posting a picture of that very soon.
Which, by the way, everybody they're going to like... One of our friends who took the picture, Tia, we're talking
Tia,
to you. She saw me laying on my back, and she thought that was the funniest thing.
She was like, oh my gosh, look at his belly. And she just starts taking pictures.
She thought it was air being pushed up into my shirt. I said, no, that is really me. It's sticking above water. And I go, if you look closely, you can see my blowhole, which was my belly button. So, make a long story short, we had a great time.
And I will say this, we experienced something else that we had never experienced. We went with friends. We've always went with our kids, or like we went with your parents or my parents. But to just go with a bunch of other couples, it was really a neat experience.
It was really a great time, and we couldn't have picked better couples to go with.
No, it was great.
Yeah. So activities. So we left Cozumel. We got back on board. Now, to our cruise, they had all kinds of activities going on. They had like trivia, and they had like karaoke.
They had finished the lyrics.
Yes.
Which was hard. I'm glad I wasn't down there.
Yeah.
The karaoke was probably my favorite, but they also had a comedian who did impressions.
Yep. They had like 3 different comedians on board.
We only went to one, and he mainly did impressions, but he was very good.
Yeah.
He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. What was his name? Bob? No, not Bob. It was like Robert.
Oh, wow. You'd been better off not to give a name if you don't know it.
Okay, I don't know it. Anyway, so he did a lot of impressions that were spot on, and you know what? He was funny, and I like the way he ended it with everybody singing Sweet Caroline.
Right, and we were waving our hands, and we go, bum, bum, bum. I love that so much. So
we were having a good time.
Yeah.
But there were so many things that you could participate in there, but the thing is not everything I wanted to participate in.
Right. Most of what there was to participate in was really loud.
Yeah.
And that's fun at the time, but I will say this. I kind of wanted some quiet activities.
And
like some easy listening piano bar music.
If you were someone who on this cruise, because it was a smaller ship, you can give it that much. That is part of the problem.
Right.
You couldn't escape very well to a quiet place and also listen to soft music or be able to talk. There was very, very limited access to any of that or any at all.
Right.
But
there's also a casino there. Forgot to say that.
Oh yeah, I tried my hand at a casino. I tried at a penny. Is that what it was? Penny slots?
Penny slots, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
I've never done this before. In fact, the last time we tried to do it, it was at Hard Rock Casino in Biloxi, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, we had no clue what we were doing. And when we went in this time, I'm like, okay, whatever, if you want to, let's do it,
Mm-hmm.
And we agreed, $20. That's it.
Yeah. And in my head, I was thinking, if I lose $10, I'm done.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to make it to 20.
See, I'm so good to you.
I know. But anyway, yeah, so...
we tried that. We came out ahead.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a convenient thing.
You know what? I can see, and this is just me being completely honest, I can see where someone could get really hooked and addicted to that.
Yeah, because I bet we wouldn't have left when we did, but Justin goes, "You're ahead, so you should cash out."
Yeah, because you and I, even after that,
okay.
we were discussing, it's like, I was like $3 over my $20.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And you and I both said, we both knew that both of us thought at the same time, just a little bit more, and if I get back down to 20, that's when I would stop.
Right.
Not because I got ahead.
And I guarantee you, because we have somewhat addictive personalities, I guarantee you, if that would have happened, we would have went, let's see if we can just drop it to 15 at the most, and then we'll leave.
There's where the addiction comes in.
And if it bumped up again, it would have just went back and forth, and then we probably would have lost all of our 20.
Right. Yeah. So, if anything about the ship, everybody was super friendly.
Yeah,
we didn't
really
meet really honestly, on the most part, we didn't really meet a cross person that was on the boat as far as angry all the time. Now, we met drunk people.
Yes. It was a nice time.
It was a really nice
time.
And
I really got the impression that the people working there were looking out for everybody and trying to take care of everybody the best way they could.
Yeah. You didn't feel like you were being neglected, for sure.
Not at all.
Now we come down to the end of the podcast where we ask the question, will you cruise again?
I want to say something to you, and you'll probably be surprised to hear this. Doing our podcast about it has really renewed me in the reasons I liked it.
Okay.
Because, we really talked a lot about what bothered us and what we would change if we could change it. And what did we kind of decide?
Oh, what did we really decide?
Yeah, what did we kind of decide?
We kind of decided that the fact that we would go on a cruise again, but it may be a larger ship would be more ideal. But overall, it's not going to be something that we do like habitually.
Right. And it's not maybe it would be a larger ship. We are doing a larger ship if we go on another cruise.
That's true.
The things that we felt like were lacking in this trip, we have been told most likely we'd be better on a larger ship.
Right. In fact, I even showed you a cruise that's going out in 2020 in December.
Yeah, he's really trying to get me on that
one.
It's
a 7-day cruise in the Southern Caribbean, I believe it was.
I think that's what you said.
And it was like 3 ports, and it goes out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it's an ocean view room.
It's a big ship.
It's on the Oasis.
Yes, it's a big ship.
Yeah, it is like one of the largest ships in the world. So, with that being said,
we're wanderers, though.
We are wanderers.
We're the type that we want to go see winter. We want to go see spring. We want to see beaches. We want to see mountains. We want to see desert.
We don't want to be restricted just to the ocean.
Right. We don't want to be restricted to just what a ship is holding for us.
Right.
Once in a while, that'll be fun. But mostly, we think we want to just travel.
Yeah. Now,
get our hands on things.
Yeah, we would enjoy the idea of going on another cruise. The next thing that we'd like to try at some time is do a all-inclusive resort.
Yes, and that is a big one for me because I feel like there might be a lot more opportunity to just kind of do my own thing rather than be held to all these things that are
straight across the board. Usually you're going to find a lot of people who did not like cruising. They would prefer going to an all-inclusive. I've noticed that people like Brad Kerr. Mm-hmm. He what did he say about going on a cruise? He said he loved it. He thought it was a lot of fun.
He was sick after he got off.
And and then all of a sudden, next you know, he's like
for several days.
And you're going like you and I were having. We don't know if it's the us coming off the Bonine, the Dramamine that we took during the cruise,
right?
Or it's because of the fact we've been on the ocean water for so long that our bodies had all that pollen and stuff coming out. You know, we were pollen free for so long.
Yeah, we're not sure if allergies are getting to us or if we're still suffering a little bit of seasickness.
So we don't know what's happening.
That kind where you also go, I was a little off balance there.
Yeah, just a little. An off balance sort of feel. Mm-hmm. You know,
and
a smidgen of that.
And just very slight upset stomach once in a while. It doesn't stick with you.
That didn't happen with me, the upset stomach, but you it did.
It did for me, yeah. Okay, so the things we have figured that we would like to change is I figured out that once you've been on the ship for a certain amount of time, yes, the water still looks pretty with nothing to see past the water, but that's all there is. So since nothing's going on, you're not seeing dolphins and whales and stuff like that, I get a little tired of just the water when I can't touch it.
Yeah, that's where the excursions come into play. Or
right. So going to a larger ship, a longer trip,
More ports.
we would have 3 days probably of beaches.
Mm-hmm.
That could probably do it for me.
Right.
And that was a big deal. One of the other things is I felt like there's not a lot to do.
No, not a lot to do. And you know what?
And they say that's better on a bigger ship. That's what my point was.
Okay.
That it kind of stays very active, the whole ship does.
Well, I was going to say, I know that Justin and Wendy told me that they went on the Oasis, and they said that for some people, what frustrates them most about those larger ships is you can't see everything, you can't do everything.
I'd rather have that problem.
I would rather have, like, so much to do. It's like, you know what? Not today, no big deal. Whatever I hit or miss, it's okay. I'm fine. It's there for me to enjoy.
Right. One of the other things that we talked about is the fact that the buffet food was just okay. But it was just okay. It wasn't anything exceptional like we dealt with in the dining room, which I thought was very good food.
I thought it was good, yeah.
But the buffet was just kind of like, this is good. Well, we've heard that on the larger ships, it's actually really good. And that's something I'd like. And the biggest thing is we didn't like the fact that we were limited on times that we could go into those places.
True.
Especially the buffet. I thought for sure that would be 24-hour.
Right.
Or at the very least, open from like 6 in the morning till like midnight or something. No, it closes. And it closes between breakfast and lunch and stuff even.
Yeah.
So it's a very strange deal. And on larger ships, from what we understand, they may have limited menus at certain times, but they have something that's always serving food.
Right. And because of the fact that I'm assuming it's because it's such a small ship. I'm assuming that's why would that matter? I haven't a clue. Maybe it's short of staff.
But I mean, these seem like small things, and they're really not huge. And that's why we said...
It's nitpicky.
That's why we said we're not ruling out cruises.
Has anybody else ever thought these same things, had these same experiences as we've had on Enchantment of the Sea? I think that...
we want to hear from you. We want to know if you've experienced any of these things or you had similar complaints. I even hate to call them a complaint because, like we said, it's not like we're saying, don't go on a cruise.
In some ways, it's a nitpick.
Because
some things that they can't be helped. So, let us know if you've had those same experiences with Enchantment of the Sea or any cruise line that's out there.
Right.
I'd be very interested to know. And we're not asking for people to dump.
No, we don't want you to be jerks about it.
But we're just asking, it's like, are we being overly critical? Essentially is what are we being overly critical about these sort of things? Should our expectations be higher? Or
is this common? Because
lower?
If this is common on other ships, we first of all would take a deep breath and go, okay, it's just the way it is.
That is it.
But also, it might help us decide whether or not we ever go on another cruise or not if we find out this is common on other ships.
Right.
So far, our friends are saying not so much.
Right.
But we want to hear from you because our friends aren't the only, the only authority. So we want to hear from you.
Right.
And basically, long story short, yes, right now we plan to someday go on another cruise just on a larger ship.
Perhaps December of 2020.
No, probably not.
Going out of Fort Leonard Wood. Not Fort Leonard Wood.
Now
Fort
that
Lauderdale.
would be interesting.
How do you cruise out of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri?
Yeah, that would
out
be
of Florida.
difficult.
That's amazing.
That would be really interesting. But anywho.
You
know what I was thinking?
What a wonderful episode we just had.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
I'm really in sync with you today.
Right there.
We got it. All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for listening to episode number
92, the one about First Cruise Eye-Openers, Part 2.
Two Tenderfoot Tourists is a weekly family-friendly podcast. It's not so much weekly anymore. Boy, we've been missing a lot. We apologize for that. If you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe to Podbean, Apple Podcasts. Really, truly, we are very sorry about that. Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and that's just naming a few.
To get in touch with us and chat about this podcast or even your travel experiences or complain because we don't post every week, simply email us at tenderfoottourist@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You could put angry faces on there at us if we're not posting every week.
I so love you. Keep those suggestions coming and maybe you'll give us our best episode of 2019. I'm Steve.
And I'm Sandy.
Until next time.
Whenever that'll be, stay tender.
I love you.